for sure is China's fast growth in the past 20, 30 years is only going to be sustainable if they can integrate innovation into a new growth model. However, China will not be able to make that transition successfully without clearing one big roadblock, which is IPR issue.
A lot of people also forget that a contract is a two-way street. It's not just about whether or not I can enforce my rights as a U.S. whatever against a Chinese party. It's also about whether the Chinese party can enforce its rights and I live up to my responsibilities on the other end of that contractual relationship. And if I'm not real sure about what the contract provides, then there's a very high risk that there's going to be a disconnect. We heard earlier one of our speakers talked about the fact that very often the negotiation of a contract continues after it's signed. I would take that a step farther. I've often heard the phrase that the negotiation of the contract begins after it's signed. And what that means to me is that you better not be just depending on the words in that contract. You have to be on the same page in a much more profound way than literally the same page of the contract. You need to have some degree of economic and business alignment, or else your beautifully worded contract is just going to be that. It's going to be a beautifully worded contract, and it's not going to help you on a going forward basis.
It's important to know who you're working with and know who to work with and find good partners, as so many people said. Long ago, before I ever went to China, I heard someone say, I think it was my father, who said, you shouldn't work with people you don't trust. That's easier said than done. And it may be stating the obvious, but it's true everywhere, and it's even more true when you're dealing with someone on the other side of the world who you can't interact with as easily. So it's great if you can have a chance to really get to know your manufacturing partner, develop a long-term relationship. Once I've found people that I can trust and count on, I've continued to work with them for years. My company's worked with a few different Chinese companies for more than a decade. We've had a good ongoing relationship with them.
Look at our core competencies or core values as an organization, their ethics and integrity, their quality, their innovation, and independence. And as we thought about innovating with trust and what China was going to mean to us as a part of our future, it was very important to us as an organization that we made sure that we brought those core values with us to China, and that we knew specifically what it was that we wanted to do in China. And I think someone used the term China strategy earlier, but we didn't just sort of show up one day and say, hey, we're here to play, come, let's do business. It has been a long, drawn-out process to get us to the point where we are today.